It's beautiful. 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 The facts are indisputable. Black is beautiful. A brand new day. Back to business as usual. See, we built empires and engineers and scientists. Gaze a glimpse into the past through Egyptian hieroglyphs. Black is beautiful. Beautiful.
This is The Real Deal with Emiel, brought to you by MHG, your local year-round trusted insurance partner. Let MHG help you for free. What's going on, Kansas City? You are listening to The Real Deal with Emiel, and I am your host, Emiel Cleaver. This show is produced by Phillips West Public Relations and Communications and sponsored by MHG, your trusted insurance partner. MHG would like to invite you to join them at a seminar they are having this Thursday. If you want to learn about the new Blue KC Medicare Advantage HMO plans, the next seminar will take place this Thursday, October 15th from 10 a.m. to noon, located at 1520 East 18th Street. And that's for anyone that wants to learn about the new Blue KC Medicare Advantage HMO plans. There's also another seminar Saturday at the Southeast branch of the Public Library. That's 6242 Swope Parkway. And that will be this Saturday, October 17th from 10 a.m. to noon. Even if you are happy with your current Medicare coverage, you should take a look at the new Blue Cross Advantage plans. And if you have any questions, you can call MHG 816-531-7500. And as always, we want to invite you to call in if you have any questions or concerns today, because I am talking with George Gates from Gates Barbecue. I invited him on the show. There was a recent article in Fox, and I believe there was another one in BBC talking about the lack of black pitmasters in the mainstream. First of all, I want to welcome you to the show. I know you're very busy. Thank you for coming to the show today.
Thank you for inviting me, Emiel. My pleasure.
You're welcome. Well, anyway, I was reading this article. It was also in The Call, and they were talking about there is a barbecue boom in America with all these shows, and we just recently, the American Royal was just passed, and the article basically was talking about the lack of black pitmasters in the mainstream. First of all, do you agree with the article, or what are your feelings about the?
Well, I did read the article, and some of the things are true. Mm-hmm. It may seem that way, but it's always been some black pitmasters. There will always be some black pitmasters. Now, will they come to the forefront? Mm-hmm. That's the question. How do they get to the forefront? But I can guarantee you, there's a lot of backyard barbecuers that are pitmasters that can barbecue just as well as the ones that are out front now. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just the evolve, how you evolve into where you're trying to get to, mm-hmm. and who's there.
Right, and they were, I guess a lot of these, the competitions that are on television today, they were alluding that maybe the black pitmasters couldn't afford to even get in these competitions. They couldn't shut down their restaurant for a day to pay these large fees without no guarantee of making any money.
Well, that may be true. Uh-huh. We don't compete because it's a business with us. It's not just a hobby. At one time, I think that it was a hobby for a lot of people, and they made money on the side as it's a hobby. They will get out and they bring their barrels out and they'll do some barbecuing and they'll sell their product. Mm-hmm. But now it becomes such a business that you have to be competitive to be in it. It's not fun and games for us, We enjoy doing it, don't get me wrong. And it's not just our living, it's my way of life, and it's a passion. And that's where I think the difference come in, where people are looking at it now as a business and not just a hobby. Mm-hmm. And those who are doing it now, they doing it as a business if you're in that mainstream.
Okay, we have a caller. I want to take our caller. You have a question or comment?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Gates, I'd just like to say you guys have the best barbecue in Kansas City and worldwide.
Oh man, thank you very much. After 67 years and 3 generations of barbecue, we ought to learn something, don't you think?
Yes, sir. As a rib consumer, every Friday night, I'd like to say I enjoy the restaurant and the business, and I just want to say you guys keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Do you ever get tired of hearing that?
Absolutely not. What are you talking about? Enjoy hearing those good comments.
Now, when people come in town, I mean, they pretty much go to Gates. I mean, any celebrities, they generally come to Gates? I mean, I'm sure you've had a lot of.
We've had a lot. Matter of fact, we did the last 2 comedy shows in the Blue Room over at the Sprint Center. We did it for Hart, who gave us a great big shout out, and we appreciate that. And he's a friend of ours, and DL and Eddie Griffin, and those guys ordered some barbecue, so we took it to the Blue Room over at the Sprint Center last week, and they enjoyed it, and they gave us shout outs. So I think people kind of relate barbecue in Kansas City, and they put Gates in there. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that also.
Well, I want to thank you for your call. Now, also, getting back to this article, they were saying they listed, and this may have been a different article, but they listed the 12 most influential pit masters in America, and none of them were black.
Where did they get the list from? That's the question. No, who gave them that list?
We have another caller. Caller, you have a question or comment?
Yes, my name is Mr. Zebedee Collins. I want to thank George Gates for contributing to improvement in the community and contributing to the economy of the community. And we're proud of him as being an African American, barbecue establishment. I like the way he answered that question in regards to competing with pit masters around the country. I feel, and everyone else know, that Gates have nothing to prove. They proved themselves over the years and paid their dues. So right. I don't think they have to get out there and compete with any of the pit masters in the community. You have some good barbecue. I've been eating there ever since I can remember. Gates Barbecue, and George, I'm pretty sure he knows me personally. He helped one of my sons out when he came home from being incarcerated. He provided him with a job, and he said not only do they appreciate us as customers, but they give back, and that was hiring my son, and we really do appreciate that. You got some good barbecue, and we want you to keep on doing what you're doing, and I don't think you have nothing to prove to anybody. You already proved it. Thank you. Have a good day.
Oh man, that's beautiful. I appreciate that. And whatever that we can give to the community, we try. You have to put back into your own. In order to get something, you had to put it in. I was telling my son the other day, he's talking about withdrawing some money or borrowing some money from me. And I said, did you make a deposit yet? You know what I mean? You can't withdraw if you don't deposit. And that's the same thing with the community. You have to put something back in order to get something from it.
Right, right. And that kind of brings up a point that I'm thinking about, and I just have to keep it real. A lot of black businesses don't really run it as professional as they should or could. A lot of restaurants, a lot of barbecue places, but you all actually run it like a good business. I mean, and I have to say, I mean, you all do a great job with the business. I mean, there's no playing around when you come to Gates. You know you're going to get great service, and that's something that a lot of black businesses aren't doing.
Now, did you want me to comment on that?
Yes, please.
Now, I don't know what a lot of black businesses do. It's a lot of black businesses that do great service.
Right, yes.
I mean, there's a lot of them do great service, and people handle business the way they want to handle business. Mm-hmm. You see, some things you don't want to change, because some people like that, the old-fashioned or whatever they're doing. That's why they get the business. Mm-hmm. But barbecue for so long has been a dirty business that just recently, within the last 30 or 40 years, it's been cleaning up. And my father was part of that evolvement and the evolution of cleaning it up. At one time, barbecue, the meats itself, was the worst meats of the carcass, whether it be beef or whether it be pork. Brisket was one of the hardest meat to tenderize, was one of the hardest meat to cook. Now, brisket is one of the main portions, or one of the main piece of meat that comes from that carcass of that cow now. So barbecue has evolved, and with the evolvement of the barbecue business itself, then the restaurants evolve. Those who want to, but some may not want to. Some like the way they're doing it. Some like to cook. I went down to Oklahoma, and there was a guy on the side of the road cooking. He had a line around the corner. So, I mean, he didn't even have a place. So it's the product. It's not necessarily what you have. It's serving that product that people want. And people they'll go out their way for a good product. That's why we strive to make sure our product is the best that we can possibly put it out every day, which is hard. But no, I don't necessarily agree that because the restaurant didn't look as nice as the next one, we do that because that's the way we do. But a lot of people may not do that. And I think it's your product that makes people come back. If you have a good product, they're going to come to you wherever you are, whether you're on the side of the road, in a cart, or whether you downtown in Commerce Towers. It doesn't make any difference. So I do, and I really don't agree with that. People do business the way they want to do business. My dad told me business is simple. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and that's it.
So, I mean, at one point, I'm guessing that there were more black-owned barbecue restaurants in Kansas City than there are today. I mean, what do you think is the reason for the decline? Or
I don't know if it's any more or any less. You know, in the 50s and 60s, I remember it was about 4 black barbecue-owned restaurants, but you had a total of maybe 10. And before that, it was less than that. And then in the 70s, 80s, you had more, because the barbecue boom started coming, you had more barbecue restaurants, and you still had about 4 black-owned, or 5. And today, it's the same. You have more, because more people are getting into it, and you still have about 4 or 5 black barbecue-owned restaurants. But that stayed the same. I don't know if people are not trying to get in it, or people think it's too expensive, like you said earlier, to get in it. But right now, barbecue is a national obsession. You know, with the television shows and the pitmaster shows, and everybody's trying to get in it. So yeah, is anytime you have a lot of commercialism, anytime you have a lot of media, you're gonna get a lot of response, and that's what's happening. A lot of people are getting into barbecue, may not stay in it, but they get into it. So as far as Kansas City, we have probably 4 or 5 black-owned barbecue restaurants, and we had 4 or 5 back in the 50s also, and they're good, or they still wouldn't be around. And we have maybe 90 or 98 total amount of barbecue joints, or what they call barbecue nowadays. So a lot of it depends on, again, what do you want out of your business, and who's gonna get involved in it.
You said what they call barbecue these days?
Yeah, because grilling, they call them barbecue. We don't call that barbecuing. See, barbecuing to us is cooking with wood over a fire in an open pit with no thermometers, no thermostats, no gas, and then we putting the wood in there and barbecuing. That's what we call barbecuing, with direct fire and direct smoke. Some people call smoking barbecuing when the fire is away from the meat. So it depends on, again, the terminology of barbecuing. Is grilling on a grill barbecuing? To some people it may be. To us it's not. So you could grill a hamburger. Is that barbecuing a hamburger? Not necessarily. So it depends on what your terminology of barbecuing is.
And this article that I was talking about, it also talks about the different styles of barbecue across the country. Kansas City has a slow cook style, is what they're saying, with various meats and thick barbecue sauce.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they're saying.
Is that what they say?
What are you saying the Kansas City style is, or is it different?
Yes. In different parts of the country, barbecue varies. I tell people all the time, barbecue is regional. Memphis has his taste, and if you grew up in Memphis, you like that. Texas has his taste, and if you grew up around that area, you like that. And Kansas City has his taste. But barbecue in itself is a personality, man. You can have 8 different people barbecuing the same piece of meat, and it's gonna taste different because their personality is gonna go in there. You know, it's what they like, it's what they feel. A little hotter, a little smokier, whatever it is. So barbecue is a personality, and that's what it is. So you may have different flavors right in Kansas City. So to pick one flavor and say it's Kansas City flavor, I don't agree with that. Or pick one way of cooking and say it's the Kansas City way. No, I don't agree with that. Barbecue is a passion, and it's a personality. That's why you have so many competitions now. That's why you have so many backyard barbecuers. And I tell you one thing, you cannot beat a backyard barbecuer. They come to me every day. My barbecue, you're probably right, but if you don't feel like cooking, we're here, okay?
Do you ever go to any of these barbecue competitions to try out the different barbecue?
Not really. I think I've been to one in Cleveland probably my whole entire life. You know, I think that we tried to make sure that our product is consistent, that it's the product that we started out with back in 1946 and it's the same product today with improvement on service and improvement on facility. But the product is the same, so I don't believe we have to go out and look for a different product or to change our product.
Who came up with the sauce? I mean, who made the sauce, the recipe?
Well, it started, my grandfather started the business back in 1946, George W. Gates. And that's who I'm named after. My father was the second generation, and myself and my brothers and sisters are the third generation. So we've been doing it since 1946, over 67, 68 years now. And but my grandfather initiated everything.
And he started it down on 18th, or it was the 12th?
19th, right there on 19th and Vine. Matter of fact, the building is still there between Purcell and Vine on 19th Street. On the north side, you'll see a sign that says Dixieland Barbecue. Well, that's where we were. It wasn't called Dixieland. It was called Gates, Kentucky at that time. And we were right there and stayed there from 46 to around 49.
And then, so when you moved from that building, you moved
to 22nd in Brooklyn, on the corner of 22nd and Brooklyn. It was for years after we left. There was another barbecue joint there called Harris's Barbecue, and that's where we were, right on Brooklyn. We left 22nd in Brooklyn and moved down to 12th in Brooklyn in 59. And so that building's still there.
And then from there, you just expanded. I mean,
yeah, I went to 31st Street and went to 103rd and State Line, went to 10th and State Avenue and 40 Highway, and kept growing, you know, because the demand was there and we wanted to facilitate the people.
Okay, we have another caller. Caller, you have a question or comment?
Now, I just have a comment because I had to be about 7 or 8 years old. My grandmother stayed at 17th in Virginia. And I mean, on Friday when my granddaddy would get paid, I would walk with her. She would walk me hand to Dixieland. So, to God be the glory and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your call. So have you all ever thought about franchising and going to different cities? I mean,
thought about it. But I don't think we'll ever do that. I think we're going to expand in our region. Again, I told you, barbecue is regional. Mm-hmm. I think we can expand the restaurants in our region, not too far, you know, within maybe an hour around Kansas City at the most. But barbecue is regional. But our sauce and our sauce products are national and international. We could send the sauce to China. We could send the spices to China. So that's where I think that the idea will come on expansion of the barbecue sauce and the spices and the products from our commissary, and not so much the restaurants. We'll keep the restaurants Kansas City owned. That's what we have on the bottle. That's what we have on all of our logo items. Kansas City owned. You come to Kansas City to enjoy it.
Now, who came up with the logo, and how long has that logo been?
My dad really came up with the logo, and he remembered this hotel downtown called, I think it was called the Downtowner, and a guy in a top hat and tux would walk around the building with the neon flashing, and it looked like he was walking. So we wanted to show at that time, this was in the 70s too. I just got back, I think, from college, and it was in the 70s, and we wanted to show how barbecue has, again, cleaned up, evolved. You can eat barbecue in jeans, or you can eat it with a tux. So that's what we were saying. Now you're strutting. You're proud to have Gates Barbecue in your hand, and walking down the street in your tux. So yeah, he thought of that one definitely.
Have you all thought about maybe adding some more things to the menu? I mean, I know recently, I think at one restaurant I saw some fish.
Yeah. We always add. We have a menu board that says trendsetter, and we always try to change that periodically. Maybe every 2 months, every 3 months. We tried the fish over on 47th and Purcell and 12th and Brooklyn. We have chicken wings and chicken legs over on 10th and State Avenue that really caught on good.
Yeah, how come you don't have the chicken wings everywhere? I mean, because those chicken wings those are hard to beat.
Because we want you to come and enjoy the restaurant on 10th and State Avenue.
Okay.
So that's like a lead item to come over there and see that. You know, Kansas City, Kansas itself is a great place to have a business, a great place to be, and we want you to come over there and enjoy those chicken wings over there and look over the Big 11 Lake and, enjoy the meal.
Now, you all have been very successful in Kansas City. What do you think is some of the reason for that success? I mean, what's the Gates philosophy that seems to work so well?
And I appreciate you saying success, but again, how's that measured? We're happy to do business in Kansas City.
Well, I mean, Gates is like a staple of Kansas City. Yeah, I mean, it's like a household name.
So it's the Cleveland name. So we appreciate that, like I'm sure you all do appreciate that. I'm glad that my father and grandfather gave us an opportunity with a good name to build on. But I don't know, success is measured by different people. Only thing that we want to do is make sure we get a great product out, the best product possibly, from the pitch to the people as soon as we can. We got a slogan that says FFEC, fast, efficient, courteous, correct. That's how we want to do our product. And any type of what you just call success, or any type of longevity that we have, it's because of the product. That's what it is. It's because of the product, nothing else. Because if I wasn't here, if that product was here, somebody would still be buying it. So we contribute everything to the Gates product.
So you've probably been working there forever. I mean, did you start out? What did you start out doing, or did you?
A comedian said, when you somewhere for a long time, it's not forever, it's ever. And so, yeah, I've been there ever. I've been there since I could remember, since I started walking. My dad always talks about 19th Street and 18th Street area. That's where he grew up. I grew up in the 31st Street area, in the 31st Street era, when 31st Street to me was the Las Vegas Strip. It had the clubs there, it had the businesses there, it had the cars there. And so I grew up cleaning up the front yard, cleaning up the basement, stacking wood, learning the business from the ground up. And I'm talking about when I was 5 or 6 years old. And I've been working ever since then. Not one day, not 2 days, but every day. You understand? Since then that I can remember. But again, it's not my living. It's my way of life, and that's what I do.
So let me ask you: do you barbecue at home? I mean, since you eat barbecue, you have a barbecue restaurant. Do you eat barbecue at home? And if you do you cook a different recipe than the store?
Them restaurants are my home. You see me down there. I'm down there at one of those joints every day. That is my home, okay. And I barbecue there. And I don't barbecue no different. The restaurant, I go home probably to sleep and to brush my teeth. Other than that, I'm in the restaurants. It's a passion, man.
Okay, we have another caller. Caller, you have a question or a comment?
Good morning. I have a comment. This is Marge Williams.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'd just like to say thank you, George, for giving the history of your family and the Gates business in Kansas.
That's Marge. That's a real good friend of our family. You know that, don't you?
Oh, okay.
And I called her this morning. I said, listen to me, Marge, and call in and say something nice. Thank you, Marge.
You're welcome. I also thank you for the opportunity that you're giving to young people and in the employment area. So thank you for all that you do for the community of Kansas City and Kansas City, Kansas.
And we appreciate that. And you have done so much also.
Thank you.
Thanks. And you guys have given a lot of people jobs over the years and helped out a lot of people. And I remember once I went to your Christmas party.
Breakfast,
I think Christmas breakfast, and that was pretty exciting. You guys gave away some money, and
they like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they do.
That's
and
a good motivator.
And like she was saying, you all do have like a rich history in Kansas City. I know you were telling me your father can pretty much knows a lot of the black history and history period in Kansas City.
He lived it. That's the difference. See, I feel like I lived it through him, vicariously through him and other people around him. But yeah, he lived 18th Street, man. So he has that.
Okay, once again, I want to thank my guests. We're running out of time. My guest, George Gates, for coming in. Before we go, I have to let you know that MHG is having a seminar at the Southeast Branch of the Public Library this Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. That's at 6242 Swope Parkway. And then they are having another one Thursday, October 15th from 10 a.m. to noon at MHG, which is located at 1520 18th Street. And they'll be giving you all the information on Blue KC Medicare Advantage HMO plans. If you have any questions, give them a call, 816-531-7500. I want to thank my guest, George Gates. And please tune in next week, 11:30 on Tuesday. Thanks for listening.
Nothing like the ruling time to build our team so we can tell Dr. King we fulfilled your dreams. The origins of man can be traced back to Africa. The facts are indisputable. I'm black and spectacular. The facts are indisputable. Indisputable. Black. Is beautiful. Black is beautiful.
The Real Deal with Emiel, brought to you by MHG, your local year-round trusted insurance partner. Let MHG help you for free.